What got you into real estate initially? What was it?
The fact that everybody that I interviewed when I was a personal trainer that was wealthy had a lot of money in real estate. So before I got into real estate, I was a personal trainer, and all my wealthy clients, they were all either in real estate or they owned businesses. None of them had a 9 to 5 job. None of them were doing, something as like a C-suite in a company. They weren't like some CFO making millions of dollars. It was the guys that own companies and did real estate. So I was like, success leaves clues. I should probably go that path. And that's how I, started getting intrigued in the process. And yeah, here we are 12 years later.
It's a good one though. Like from personal training to real estate, what was the first step you took? You had some money saved up?
Zero, bro. No, I lived in Northern Virginia, right outside of Washington, D.C. I had like $5,000 to my name. And I decided I was going to move to Austin, Texas. I didn't know anybody. I didn't have a job lined up. I just got an apartment down there for $1,000 a month, and I had to figure it out. And I was like, well, I either got to get a job or I got to like figure out how to do this real estate thing. So got on YouTube, started watching a bunch of YouTube channels, got really like entrenched in the process, and then got started. Yeah, I started spending money on marketing that I didn't have, and from that point, I had to take a job because I was running out of money too fast.
Right.
So I got a 9 to 5 job doing inside sales at Indeed.com, and then at night and on the weekends, I was doing real estate. So I worked 24/7 for the first basically 3 years to get my business off the ground and go full time and really, live the life that I have today.
Explain that initial 3 years to me. Like, what would you buy something, you flip it? Explain that to me. What was it like?
The first 3 years, I was broke, busted, disgusted, had no money to my name. Uh, I was driving around in a beat up Mazda 3, living in a 1 bedroom apartment with an air mattress and no furniture. And I was handwriting yellow letters and sending them to people for my marketing, which is like the worst form of marketing you could do, but it's all I had money for. So I would get these calls from people. I would go out and visit their house and make an offer on their property. And I got told no 104 times before I got my first yes. So if you can imagine driving around in a car with no AC in the middle of Texas and driving hours and getting told no 104 times and you're broke, it was really difficult for the first year. It took me 11 months before I got my first deal, but I persevered through. And then um, I ended up getting a call back from one of my appointments, and they're like, "Hey, this is from months ago," because that's why it's so important to follow up with people. I was always following up, and finally somebody said, "Yes, let's move forward." I made $12,000 on my first deal, and then because I had a job, I didn't have to touch that money. I took all that $12,000, put it straight back in marketing,
Hmm.
and then I started picking up deals more consistently after that. And then really started blowing up when I incorporated pay-per-click advertising into my repertoire. And yeah, I've been doing millions and millions of dollars every year ever since.
Good.
Yeah.
Explain wholesaling to me, because I know jack shit about real estate.
All right. So the reason I got into wholesaling, I'm gonna explain it to you,
Yeah.
was because they told me you don't have to have money to get into wholesaling. You don't have to have credit to get into wholesaling. And you don't have to have any licenses or experience to get into wholesaling. And I was like, well, shit, then I'm qualified because I got no money. My credit's not where it needs to be right now, and I don't have a license. So I was like, all right, I can get in here and make $25,000 a rip on these houses. So the way that it works is, say you got a house and you want to sell it to me. Your house is worth $100,000. I say, all right, Quentin, I'm not giving you 100 grand for this house. I'm going to give you 60 grand. You say, all right, just take the house off my hands. Usually the people that I'm talking to are in a distress situation. They are behind on payments. They inherited the property. They don't know what to do with it. They're going through a divorce, et cetera, et cetera. right? They're going through some shit in their life. So you're like, fine, dude, just take the house, 60 grand, get it off my hand. Let me get some cash. So we sign a contract for 60,000. Now I go talk to somebody else and I say, hey, listen, I got a house worth $100,000. I'm going to give it to you for $75,000. To them, that's a great deal, right? They say, let's go, write it up. So I write a contract with them for 75,000.
Hmm.
I got a contract with you for 60,000, a contract with another guy for 75,000. Well, I take those two contracts and I take them to the title company and then I collect the difference in between.
Right. You're like drop shipping houses, basically.
Drop shipping houses. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's the way it works. But I'm not drop shipping fidget spinners for, a $5 markup. I'm drop shipping houses for a $15,000 to $25,000 markup, sometimes more than that. I mean, we've done deals, upwards of $175,000,
Hmm.
profit. So um it's a much better model than a lot of that other e-com crap and stuff that people are promoting.
Yeah. Touch on like the marketing aspect of that. 'Cause you talk about you did the paid leads. How did that come along?
Yeah, because I told you in the beginning, I was mailing out letters, I was putting up signs around my neighborhood, and I was like, "Dude, I just got to get these people coming to me. Like, if I can get this going online, then this is where it's at." And this is 2014. Nobody was teaching it.
Hmm.
So, like, I just figured out how to run Google ads successfully. Yeah, I got a website, started running Google ads, and before you knew it, leads started coming in, and these leads were way more motivated to sell their house because they were reaching out to me. They were going on Google, typing in "sell my house fast," and then calling me or filling out a form. So I started really getting traction when I did that. It's the highest quality leads you can get in our business, and so I did that for a couple years, and then I really hit a turning point because I was just doing Texas, and then I decided I'm going to do this nationally. I did it nationwide, and my cost per lead dropped significantly. I went from spending like $200 a lead down to like, you know, 25, $30 a lead
Hmm.
because that works like that. Like when you expand out geographically, like your cost per lead goes lower. So once I did that, I really started just ripping deals. I was able to quit my 9 to 5 job, and from that point, I built a team. I was able to put somebody in place to take over the day-to-day operations, and I semi-retired. I live out here in Cancun now. My business is in Austin, Texas.
Hmm.
So that's a quick, like 60,000 foot overview of how it went, but a lot of shit happened. I've been doing this 11 years. So there's been, a lot of things that I've learned and a lot of trials, tribulations that, I had to go through
Yeah,
to persevere and get to this point.
of course, sure thing. Touch on doing it alone and then building up a team. What was that like for you? You felt like more pressure, or it was just you enjoyed it?
I mean, you got to have leverage in your business. Once you have a proof of concept and you're making money in business, you have to think who, not how, because you only have 24 hours in a day.
Hmm.
And you're never going to scale if you're a one-man show. Um, because it's just not feasible. Even with all the technology, AI coming into place right now, like lean on technology, but you need to be able to replicate what you do and start getting leverage so then you can go ahead and grow your operation. So, at the beginning, I was doing everything, taking the sales calls, locking up the deals, selling the deals on the other side, doing all the administrative work. And it was a lot. I was making money, but you know, back then I was making, 40, $50,000 a month just by myself. Now, now we do, four, $500,000 a month because I have a team in place,
Hmm.
right? So, the first person that I hired was a sales guy to help me, like basically set my appointments for me
Hmm.
and help me. And I was the closer, and so that helped out a lot. Do follow up, and then I promoted him to a closer, and then I got another setter, and then promoted them to a closer, and now I had two closers myself, and now I was just selling the deals all day because they were sending me deals, and then it just really, started to expand out from there
Right.
to where we have about 22 people now, and we're, one of the top teams in the nation.
That's dope. What do you
Yeah.
look for in guys that you hire? I love asking this question. Every guy gives a different answer, but what do you personally look for in the guys you hire?
Tenacity, growth mindset, grit, and I think that lacks a lot nowadays. Yeah, I think our generations are pretty soft, and a lot of people quit when things get hard. Business, sales, entrepreneurship, making money is it's a it takes all those things.
Hmm.
You got to have that mindset to want to be the best. You got to have be willing to get better every single day. You've got to have strong financial drive. You got to have like hunger for money if you're going to be in the sales game, right? You got to have tenacity to just keep showing up and be relentless, grit to be able to you know not give up, not be a quitter when you get told no 104 times like I did, right? And keep pushing forward. So all those qualities are what it takes to be successful in any business, not just wholesaling.
No, I like it. What's your more on the mindset stuff? Because that's interesting to me. What's your like view on money? Why are so many people they don't get it right? You get it right. A lot of guys I interview get it right. What's your view on that?
I think a lot of people, the reason a lot of people screw up and don't get money right is because they were just conditioned in a very traditional mindset that's outdated. They're conditioned that you go to school, you get good grades, you go to university, you come out, you get a good job, you work your way up the corporate ladder, and eventually you put enough money into your retirement plan and everything's going to be okay.
Hmm.
That's broken. That's an outdated model that worked with our grandparents. It doesn't work anymore. Nowadays, in order to make a lot of money, you can't work for somebody. No person that works a 9 to 5 is a billionaire. Okay.
Hmm.
It just doesn't exist. So you got to take clues. All right. Well, I need to get out and, you know, become an entrepreneur, make actually go create value in the marketplace. So, what is the best vehicle to create value? How do you make the most amount of money in the least amount of time with the least amount of headache possible? Because a lot of people they want to make money, but they pick the wrong vehicle, right? We just used the analogy earlier. Like I could go drop ship a fidget spinner or a DJI mic and make $5, maybe $50 per unit. I have to sell a lot of these DJI mics in order to make $1 million. What about these houses? How many times would I need to? How many houses would I need to move in order to make $1 million when it's $25,000 average deal size? It's 40 houses, right? It's
Right.
not that much. Yeah, we do that about a month. So we've done that in a month before. So it's very easy. You just got to pick the right vehicle and not not be content with being a 9 to 5 employee.
Right. 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 That 104 rejections you got. That's interesting to me. What's your I'd say what's your mental frame for that? Like you get a rejection, then what? Because people can deal with that.
So here's the deal. I just told you it takes 25 leads, roughly between 15 to 30 leads to get a contract. So, all right, Quinn, what if I came up to you and told you right now, hey, man, you're going to have to go through 30 no's to make $25,000. How excited would you be to go out and get your first no right now? Probably pretty excited because all right, dude, I just got to go through 29 more of these and I'm going to get a yes. So sales is a numbers game. You can't get discouraged by hearing no. You just got to understand the math behind, how many leads does it take you to get a contract? How much is that contract value worth? And don't get discouraged. Continue to learn, get better every day. But that's how I look at it is I don't care about getting a no because I know the way the math works is that every for us 15 no's equals a yes. Every yes equals $25,000.
Mhm. That's cool. I heard you talk with Sean Kelly about stress, money, the correlation between that. Elaborate on that. When you started making more money, you had less stress. For a lot of people, it's the other way around.
Uh, yeah. So when you have more money, it definitely alleviates a lot of the daily stress that you go through when you're just getting started because you're worried about you're in survival mode, right? You know, how am I going to afford, marketing? How am I going to afford my basic living expenses? Once you can zoom out from that, your stress levels go down a lot. Now, you have bigger ambitions and bigger goals. And so that stress never fully goes away because, like, when I was just getting started, my bills were, let's say $3,000 a month. Now my bills are $300,000 a month. So it grows relatively,
Right.
right? So you just gotta understand that, like, yes, you'll be out of survival mode. That stress of always, worrying about money will be gone. I can go out and buy whatever I want, whenever I want, do whatever I want, and that's incredible.
Hmm.
Like you have to get there. Anybody that's not there, you have to get there and get that freedom in your life.
Right.
Uh, the freedom of not having to look at the price tag, the freedom of not having anxiety, every week or month when bills come around. It just doesn't even concern you.
Hmm.
That is incredible. But your bills are going to raise as you continue to go, and so it's just a bigger amount that you're dealing with.
Break the 300 down for me. I loved it.
Break the 300 down.
Yeah. What are you spending it on?
I've got, a business. So between, my marketing and my payroll are the two biggest things that I spend money
Mm,
on,
sure.
right? I spend roughly half of my expenditures go to um marketing, or excuse me, payroll.
Hmm.
Another 25% of that 300 will go to marketing. And then the rest is general and administrative expenses, just softwares, office rent, everything else that comes with running a business.
Hmm.
So it goes fast, it's and bills never stop.
That's for
So
sure.
just know that is you're paying bills right now. I'm paying bills too. I'm paying probably a lot more bills than most people, but it continues to grow. And you know what? I love it. I'm hoping in 10 years or less, my bills are um, $30 million a month,
Hmm.
right?
Sure.
That's the goal.
Cool. What keeps you going at this point? What motivates you right now?
So what motivates me right now is here's the thing. I've achieved everything that I set out for myself. I became one of the top real estate wholesaler in the country. I retired. I lived the freedom lifestyle. This was my dream. 10 years ago when I was broke, busted, and disgusted, sitting in a one-bedroom apartment. I said, if I can live semi-retired, living on the beach with palm trees, like that is it. But here's when you achieve that after you've, hung out on the beach, went to every single restaurant, gone to the gym twice a day for, a year, you realize like that's not fulfilling, right? What is fulfilling as a human being and for men in particular is we have to grow and bear fruit. I like to use the analogy of like, the tree, right? Like trees are always continually growing until they die.
Hmm.
And so as human beings, we continue to grow. And as men, we bear fruit. That's what we do. So it's our duty to bear fruit, not only just for ourselves and our families, but what about, the other people around us? Think about the impact that you make when you're continuing to bear more fruit and more fruit. That is, really what is exciting for me is how far can I take it? How much can I maximize my potential? How big of an impact can I make
Hmm.
while I'm on this planet? It wouldn't be satisfying for me to just be, selfish and greedy. Like I have everything I need. I'm just gonna, stay in my own little bubble because one, that gets old after a while. Two, it's not fulfilling. So while I'm breathing, I'm gonna continue to reach for more and get better, and just gonna do that until the wheels fall off.
Any specific goals you got left that are like big vision, 20, 30, 40 years, whatever? I love that.
Yeah, by the grace of God, I'm on track to be a billionaire. So that's a goal of mine in terms of financial. In addition to that, I'm really passionate about animals, like especially dogs. So I'm starting a dog rescue.
That's dope.
I'm buying, yeah, 300 acres of land, doing high fence on it, getting state of the art, facilities for animal rescue.
Mhm.
We'll have vets, vet techs, all of that at our facility. So really excited to do that. Um, and yeah, I mean, for me, it's just about continuing to get 1% better every single day. When I look back 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, I want to say that I made a lasting impact on not only my family, my employees, but everybody that's ever come in contact with myself, my content, our coaching and mentorship. I want to be able to really impact the world in a positive way.
Yeah, no, I like that. Closing. Lessons you've learned the hard way. Things you could have prevented for the people listening.
Oh, fuck. I've learned a lot.
That's for
Lessons I've
sure.
learned the hard way. All right. Where do I start? Uh, uh, one, uh, don't work with your friends, family, or spouse. Keep them your friends, their family, and the spouse. Prioritize protecting those relationships because listen. I know a lot of people they work with their wives and their girlfriends and all that, but I would not suggest putting the trials and tribulations of a business into your relationship. That's um, something that is a huge liability. What if you break up with that person? What if what if the work stress becomes too stressful and it impacts your relationship? It's not worth it. So, um, I'm not going to sit here and elaborate too much, but like I did that in the beginning. I had a girlfriend working in my business, decided I wanted to break up with her. She sued me and took all my stuff. I barely hung on to my business. I basically, because of that situation, lost everything and then bounced back. But that was a lesson for me. Another lesson is learn how to use credit. I know you're in the Netherlands, you guys don't really have that, but in the United States, if you're listening to this in the US, learn how to use credit properly and leverage that. That'll help you grow much faster. And yeah, that would have probably saved me years. And then above and beyond that, you're only as good as the company you keep, right? We all hear the same cliche. You're the sum of the five people you hang around, blah blah blah. But when you are in business, it's the same thing. Your company is a direct reflection of the quality of hires that you make. So if you hire great people, your company will pretty much run itself, and you'll be out here, in Cancun chilling. But if you have a bunch of people that, are B players, you're going to be stuck in your business. So hire the best possible talent that you can afford, and you will be rewarded for it.
I love that. What's
Yeah.
2025 like for Nick Perry?
Yeah, 2025, I'm actually getting my ass off the beach here. I'm moving to Scottsdale, Arizona. I'm opening a new office there.
Dope.
I'm going to Africa and Antarctica, and I'm growing a really large sales team in Scottsdale. So, in addition to doing the wholesaling, I've got a couple other companies as well. We're um, purchasing more companies right now. So we don't just buy houses, we buy companies as well. So we're going to be expanding more into business acquisitions and our community for the seven figure cartel is growing. So that's a big passion project of mine, helping the younger generation and entrepreneurs that are coming up avoid a lot of the trials and tribulations that I went through and be able to collapse time so they can live, the life of their dreams.